Hello, my name is Mr. Vandegrift, and I want to welcome you to Back to School Night. I teach 7th and 8th grade science at Olive Pierce Middle School. I want to just share a little bit about myself so you can get to know me as your son or daughter's science teacher. I have a BA in biology from Point Loma Nazarene University. I have a teaching credential in science. I have a master's degree in teaching and learning. I also do some graduate ed classes. I teach at Point Loma as an adjunct professor. When students return, I am in room S3. This is my 29th year of teaching. And so it's pretty cool. I have a lot of students now that come to me and say, "Hey, Mr. Vandegrift, my mom or my dad had you as a science teacher." And I'm like, that's really cool. But when students start to come to me and tell me that their grandfather or grandmother had me as a science teacher, I probably should think about retiring at that point. I am a trained professional and I absolutely love my job, even teaching after all these years. This is what I looked like at the end of the school year because I committed to myself, I am not going to shave until there's a vaccine for this COVID virus. But my wife encouraged me to shave and get a haircut, so I listened to her, I shaved up, or the thing would be a lot longer. So anyway, it's been a strange year last spring and starting this school year. It's just very, very strange. We're all working so hard. I know you guys are working hard, working with your children. Your kids are working hard. Teachers are working hard. We're going to get through this, and we are committed to give your son or daughter the absolute best teaching and educational experience. A little bit about me. I love to travel. We were able to take a little trip up north. We were able to do in Monterey, do a little kayaking with my son and daughter and wife. We saw some sea otters, which are really cool. We also got to see this sea lion. Take a look here. So absolutely love wildlife. I love all sorts of things about science. This right here, obviously, is General Sherman, the largest living organism in the world. You can see me down here with another giant sequoia. These are just monstrous, behemoth living organisms that are thousands of years old. Trying to wrap my arms around this one. Yes, I am a little tree hugger, but I couldn't really hug this tree that well. I love to surf as well. This is in La Jolla, I think, with my son. In the spring, here's my daughter during her birthday. In the summer, we went surfing. And we absolutely love dogs. We're a dog family. We have a German Shepherd named Beatrix. And we just rescued this little dog. Her name is Bailey from Mexico during the COVID time in the quarantine. And so 2 dogs is enough, 1 small, 1 big. Now that you know a little bit about me, I am doing my absolute best to get to know your students. Right here, they're showing a picture of something that's important to them. So for this student, it was ballet. For this student, it's baseball or basketball or football or sketching and drawing. Let's see. Over here, we've got, looks like a motorcycle rider here, Rubik's Cube here, baseball. Right here, we've got these, looks like he's into snakes, right? Looks like painting over here. So it's really important. I am committed to get to know, not just know your son's and daughter's first and last name, but to get to know their interest and if they're extrovert, introvert, and how can I meet their learning needs and then really take that in consideration when I design lessons. So we here at Olive Pierce, we focus on the next generation science standards. That's what we are teaching in California. So it's made up of core ideas, cross-cutting concepts, and practices. In the past, the science standards covered a lot of facts, and students are really good at memorizing these facts and regurgitating them on tests, but a very shallow understanding of actually science, and they didn't do that much science. But with the next generation science standards, it's really a nice 3-prong approach where students are doing science with the practices, students are learning the facts and the knowledge, with those are the discipline core ideas, and students are starting to think like scientists, which are the cross-cutting concepts. It is very important that your son or your daughter, your student, has a science journal, not just using their Chromebook or their laptop, but they have a journal to sketch down ideas during our discussions, our demos, and it's very, very important that they do that so they can draw models, come up with questions. So we really focus a lot through the years, what is science and what is engineering? Because we as science teachers are teaching both of those. So science is based on looking at phenomena And from those phenomena, we come up with questions, and then we design investigations for inquiry. But in engineering, it meets human needs. So defining problems and then coming up with design, whether it's like an iPhone or a new pair of shoes or maybe a new electric vehicle, that's going to be defining a problem and then coming up to meet those human needs through design. So phenomena is just simply an event that occurs. And again, we base all of our lessons on a phenomena, hopefully that's going to capture the student's interest, whether it's a tornado or a tidal bore, where these rising tides go up rivers and create actual waves. And again, you can see the size of this tidal bore right here by looking at the scale of the people. Sometimes people get a little too close to the action and where it can be dangerous. In England right here, they're actually surfing a wave that's in a river, that's tidal bore, and they also do that in the Amazon as this water comes up from the Atlantic Ocean up the Amazon. And take a look at this clip. I'll just show you about 30 seconds. So this is not the ocean. This is actually the Amazon River, and these are people surfing in the Amazon River. And so we would use this phenomena to start the lesson. Or maybe it would be the comet Neowise, which maybe some of you saw during the summer. It was one of the brightest comets we've had in decades. Or in the spring also, this is me up in Julian. I'd never seen a poppy bloom. So it was amazing to be around this many poppies. And it's like, well, what's causing that? Why doesn't it happen every year? So there's biotic and abiotic factors that cause that to happen, whether it's heat or more rain. Or so there's all sorts of factors with that. Take a look at this phenomenon and see if you can figure out what this is. So it's not Avatar, the movie, right? This is real footage, no special effects. These are dolphins swimming off the coast of California with, yes, the phytoplankton that glows green, or I'm sorry, glows blue, although they call it the red tide, right? And so we heard about it. So my daughter and I went out surfing. It was just getting dark. This was during the spring, during the quarantining. And unbelievable, these waves just roll in blue. This is in La Jolla. And I know it might be hard to believe, but Southern California, and specifically La Jolla, California, is one of the best places in the world to observe this phenomena of red tide, which is glowing blue waves. Take a look at this. Is filmed right off of Scripps. So when we're out there and you paddle, you agitate these phytoplankton, and then they start to glow with this bioluminescence. And it is very magical. Very cool. So we might use this phenomena to start the lesson. Or maybe a phenomena like this for exothermic chemical reactions. Or maybe like this. So if you look at this cube, you've got A, gray, and then you've got, down there you've got B, which looks white. And if you look at both, I could ask you which is darker, A or B. Now most of you'd say, yeah, I know A is darker. But in reality, your mind's playing a trick on you. So if you take two fingers and you go ahead and right over here and cover that up right now on the screen, cover that up, go ahead and do it. Oh my God, you can see that A and B are the identical color. Move it away, it changes color because your brain perceives it differently with the shadowing in the background. Go ahead and do that. So that would be another example of a phenomena we could use to be teaching. Or when we bring in liquid nitrogen and we freeze flowers, right? Because there's got a lot of water in there and it shatters like glass. Like what exactly is causing that? We could use that when we're talking about taking away or adding thermal energy. Or right here, I'm going to put my hand in liquid nitrogen because I know the latent frost effect, that my hand is so warm it will boil the liquid nitrogen and create a millimeter thick nitrogen glove around my hand for less than 1 second, but it will protect my hand. Or maybe the phenomena of soaking my hand in water and putting these bubbles with propane in there, because my hand's going to be protected by the specific heat of water, and it's not going to heat my hand up with this combustion chemical reaction that fast. So that's pretty cool, right? Or with this, with the conservation of momentum. So it's never going to come back. It's going to have drag. It's going to lose some energy, right? So we might use that. Or this. This is a great lesson on Newton's third law of motion, and we're actually getting into this in 8th grade right now. Take a look. We made a rocket skateboard. 3, 2. So much science involved right here. And we actually turned this into an assessment. So again, I like to have fun, but I also like to engage the students, because an engaged student is going to have higher levels of learning. So again, here we did some really cool things with a super powerful neodymium magnet. You can see here how powerful it is. but I don't have time to go into that because they only give me 10 minutes for this video. So what we're continuing with these phenomena is every Tuesday for this distance learning, we're doing a Zoom Tuesday science demo. So this was the one we did this week. Well, actually, first week we did this one with the lava lamp. Let's go back here. This is in my summer school class. Now again, it creates carbon dioxide, creates these bubbles, goes through the oil. But I want you to focus on this student here. He was in my science class this summer. But this is what we want to do. We want to capture the students. We want to pull them in with the cool phenomena.
I picked red. I don't know what color you want to do.
Right? We want to be drawn in and then solve that mystery.
You say 10 drops?
Right? We want them to figure out what they're wondering about. The second week we did the changing color milk. And this is phenomenal. They had a great time doing this. Some of them did a better job than me. And I don't give them the answer, right? They have to tell me what they think. They have to come up with questions. They have to design an experiment, possibly, of how they can figure out the answer. And then this week, actually, we did this, I believe, yesterday, is the dish soap propelled boat. So take a look at this. I'm going to take the boat like this. Remember, I've cut it out from that. Here's the boat. I'm going to set it gently in the water. Like that. Here's my boat. And then I'm going to take 1 drop of soap. 1 drop. Please watch. Watch carefully. So my question to you. So then we would show that to them over and over. Then they would come up with their thoughts of what's going on. I'm not going to give them the details of that it's dealing with the surface tensions being broken by the soap, and that the water is polar, and then the soap breaks it because it's a surfactant, and then the hydrogen bonds pull away the water, and for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction, and then it propels the boat forward as the water is leaving the back of that little keel. We will eventually get to that. But we capture their interest with these phenomena, right, for them to figure out. So what is the goal of the middle school science program? Well, we want students to become more passionate about science by doing experiments that are going to engage them. We want them also to consider a career in STEM that maybe they wouldn't have considered before. So this was my student, 15 years ago. And he just finished his PhD at Scripps. He came in and he's actually doing speaking engagements in my class. So it's really cool. This student right here, he had a lesson on fluid dynamics, and then he got so interested he became a pilot with that. But again, I'm not expecting every student to become a scientist, but at least that they would consider a career in STEM. And then we want them to engage in the science and engineering practices. So here they designed a osmosis experiment. I didn't even do this till I was in university and college. And then they present their data that they came up with. They work together to create an argument based on evidence. And then they present that argument to their peers, and they justify their evidence. So pretty cool. And then we also want them to recognize meaningful and relevant cross-cutting concepts in their everyday life. So we want them to see patterns, right? There's patterns all around us, whether it's in the seasons, right, or in our DNA. We want them to see cause and effect, that A causes B. This drop is the cause, the effect is the ripple, right? The tornado was the cause, the effect was the bus on top of the building. The Ebola virus right here is the cause, and then tragically it was just going through Africa and just taking so many people's lives, the Ebola virus. Right? We talk about scale and proportion and quantity. Light is super fast, 186,000 miles a second. It's hard to conceive, right? And even this mountain's moving, but it's on a different scale. It's only maybe moving like a quarter of an inch a year. Or this galaxy, quantity, 100 billion stars. And then system and system models. So we'll talk about solar system, and that's a system, or an ecosystem, or even this jaguar could be a system. In energy and matter, we talk about structure and function. We talk about stability and change. And again, there's so much to go over. I only have so few minutes to talk with you. So again, apologize for talking so quickly. Let me get over to this here. So moving to kind of what science is all about to just the practicalities. So basically, what your students need to be able to do is log into Clever. And most of them know how to do that. I can help if they can't do that. And then they're going to log into, they're going to go to Clever, and they're going to log into Canvas. So my Canvas page looks like this here. Let's see. So yeah, this is my 8th grade. I have 1 8th grade and I have 4 7th grade classes. So if you look right here, here's my home page. And there's just the rocket skateboard lesson I talked about. There's distance learning scheduling, distance learning expectations. There's links to the syllabus, meet your teacher. This is the most important here, the modules. We'll talk about that in a moment. Here's the Zoom link. They click on that. It'll take them to the Zoom lesson for that day. And most important is my office hours. It's all listed here. They click on this, and then I'll be available to meet with them. But it's really important that your students email me first. Dear Mr. Vandegrift, can I please have an office time at 2 o'clock? And I'll confirm, yes, I'll be there, just to make sure that I'm not meeting with the principal or a colleague, or I'm, take in the restroom break or something. I want to be there for your students. I am here. That is my job, to help them succeed and reach their full potential. Okay? Now, here we go. We're talking about the modules. So let's click on the modules. So here's week 1. Here's week 2. And this is the current week we're on. So I just want to back up, just take a look for a moment. So if you click on here, it gives the details of that module and how to turn it in. Let's click on here. So on top of this, it talks all about the assignment. I have an embedded video telling exactly how to do the assignment. It's about 5 minutes. And then it tells them what to do and how to upload their video. And there's a video, and then people commented, here's a video. This is just a get to know you video. But it was just great to see these videos. Your students did a fabulous job. A few are still working through how to load that, and that's where they need to come talk to me during office hours, and I'll help them. But I absolutely love this feature because they post a video, and then people can comment on there. And we've just had positive comments. Students have done a stellar job. Here's last week. And let's see. This one, let's click on this one. This right here was they were supposed to watch the demo for that week, and then they were supposed to make a post, and then they were supposed to comment on 2 other people's posts. This student went above and beyond and actually uploaded a video, and they did an amazing job of designing their own experiment. So it is true, there is a way to do hands-on science remotely. It just takes a little more energy and time. And let's take a look here. So currently this is the week we're doing right now. So if you click on this task 0, this is just the boat one that we did, and then students are starting to comment on here. They don't have to do a video or anything. They're just commenting on their thoughts of what they think is going on. If we take a look here at this phenomena, task 1, this says go to Clever and go to STEMscope. STEMscope is the new pilot that we're testing out this first semester, and so they have to they have to go to Clever, and then they have to go to STEMscopes, and then it will actually take them to the assignment, and then they can watch the video, right? And then from there, they can answer the 2 questions, and then they just turn it in. Now, literally, that assignment, I think, took probably 5 or 10 minutes. So let's take a look here. So some students will want to get all of this done, and they might just bust it out. They might just put their head down and focus and get it done in 2 hours, and they're done. They don't have any more science homework for the whole week until next Tuesday. Or actually, yeah. So we're gonna extend that. So normally things are due on Sunday night, but I think I'm gonna change that and make it due on Tuesday. So I'm gonna assign everything on Tuesday, and then it's all gonna be due that next Tuesday. So they have that full week to be working on everything. So if they go, or they can just spread it out. They can do maybe 10 minutes here. This one might take, this is probably 15 minutes. Actually did that in class with them. This one right here might take another 15 minutes. This might take 15 minutes. This might take 20 minutes. So let's take a look at this one, the hook. So it says here you're supposed to watch these 2 videos on the hungry hippos, because it's focusing on what is a system, what are the components of a system. After that, they need to go to Clever to STEMscope. So let's go back to STEMscope, and then they would go to the hook, and from the hook there are, let me see, I got to go in student view, and then for right there they can answer the questions and then turn it in. So again, I cannot stress enough that the most important thing on here is going to be your modules, and on each of these I am starting to put videos explaining in great detail how to do the lesson, right? So again, I am having a lot of grace on all students if they're turning things in late. Again, I want to work with your students. Again, I'm here for them. I'm here for you. So please reach out, email me, please reach out. We can set up a time for my office hours and we can talk. I'm here for your students' success, and I want them to have a great, awesome, fun year in science. So hopefully this is helpful, and I will be talking to you in the future. Thanks for listening. Bye.